Welcome. We have a good meeting tonight. Would you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? The Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Additions to the agenda, we have a letter from E911. Does anybody have anything else? Okay. My remarks. Our new interim treasurer and town clerk are working hard and doing great. We're fortunate. Open public comment for items not on the agenda. Please limit it to 3 minutes. Okay, we've got her and then you.
No, I missed the old microphone.
Well, it'll hear you wherever you stand.
I know, the
wants to
owl or
hold it.
whatever.
Yes.
I'm Bronna Zlochiver, and I'm here tonight to say there will be a Vernon Community Market this summer. The organizing committee has met. We've looked at the last 2 seasons and what worked and what didn't work. And it's already been announced on Facebook page, I guess, the town Facebook page, that we're only having 2 dates. One is the day after school ends, I believe that's June 25th, and the other is September 3rd. Because of all the weather cancellations last year, we decided this might be the best way. We're still working on the details of the market, and we'll get back to you. We're meeting in a couple of weeks again, and we'll be back with the better details later. But we just wanted to make sure that you knew about it and that the people watching know about it.
Thank you.
And we're very grateful to all the vendors, including the fire department and all your support. It was, when we had it last year, it was a lot of fun. We just had a lot of cancellations due to weather and heat and stuff. So we're working on it.
Great.
Thank you.
Norma Manning, Conservation Commission. 2 quick items. The kiosk down to Lily Pond, we're gonna go with RL codes, where people put their camera up, and we're going to link
QR.
thank you. See, we're gonna link their phones up to the state report on Lily Pond there, so that's a plan, if that's okay with everyone. We'll just get it laminated. Sam Corcoran is designing a poster so that we don't have to keep putting all this other information up there and hoping the rain doesn't get it or whatever. People can just use their phone. The second thing does have to do with Lily Pond. When we did the boulder project, we reserved $500 from, it came in ridiculously less than what we had asked for. We returned most of the money, reserved the $500 to complete the part of the project, which is to drill eyelet holes into the 2 end boulders and put a chain across with a removable end to one of the chains. Try that way for a while, see if people respect that, to keep people going down into that sensitive area where we're really not supposed to be. So the problem is that I contacted Shelley, but somehow in the middle of the treasurer thing, it was the treasurer, I had told them we're reserving $500. I don't know if you guys have a record of this. I don't think Shelley was able to come up with it, but it was in our original plan that that's what we're doing. I don't know if we still have the money to do that.
That money can't be allocated after December 30th
This was part of the money that was allocated with the boulders.
unless there was a motion made. I'll have to look and see what I can find.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Not to totally jump the gun, but I think you ought to probably hold off on the boulder drilling. I contacted somebody, Rebecca Chalmers, who's our ecologist, wetlands ecologist, and I'm awaiting her return as to whether or not the boulders have to stay where they are at this point.
May I just say really quickly that Rebecca Chalmers and the select board both signed off on where the boulder positions are. That's already been signed off on, so if she changes it, that's news to me. But the
Well,
conservation.
She suggests where it goes. She doesn't tell the rules, she doesn't make the rules. She suggests where things can go, but she doesn't set the standard. And I checked that out today.
Okay, thank
And
you
I'm
very
saying that
much.
we're making a mistake putting them right in the middle of the parking lot.
That's not the parking lot though.
Yes, it is the parking lot.
All right,
All right, sorry.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, folks. Moving on to approval of the minutes. You may do it all at one time, or with 4 minutes, you might want to do it, break it up. However you want to do it, guys. Ladies.
We have to do 2 and 2, won't we?
It'd probably be best to do it.
We have, yeah, change of membership.
Right.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular select board meeting on Tuesday, February 18th, as written, as well as the select board emergency meeting minutes of Tuesday, February 25th, as written.
Do we have a second?
second,
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Obviously not. Okay. We're on to March 4th and March 11th.
So that would be 4 though.
You had me absent on the 4th, I was absent on the 11th.
Whoops.
Brandon was here on the 4th.
Here on the 4th, not the 11th.
Okay. We stand for it.
I can fix that.
Do we have a motion?
For,
Either. Both.
so, but this should be not, this should only be 3. Shelley can't vote on these. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah. And Brandon's abstaining from one,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so that's your vote counts.
Okay, so March 4th and March 11th. We can. Brandon can't move on the 11th, but everybody's abstaining.
all right,
So which ones were
He
you
was
saying the
here
ones
on
we
the
just
4th.
approved? There was one.
No, on the 4th.
On the 4th, March 4th.
That was my.
Oh, the next one, not this one. Okay. March 4th, you were absent or no?
No, I
You
was
were
here March 4th.
Yeah.
March 11th, the special meeting, the emergency meeting, I was not here.
Uh,
Thank you for catching that.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of March 4th as corrected.
so moved.
Do we have a second?
second,
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Okay, the motion carries. Now March 11th.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of March 11th as written.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 I'm staying.
He's abstaining.
Both.
I wasn't there.
She wasn't.
Okay,
2
3
abstained.
ayes. I could read that. Okay, thank you. Warrant,
Madam Chair, I move that we approve payment of the following warrant. 18T accounts payable, $70,979.42. 9S payroll, $18,077.59. 10S payroll, $16,299.82. And ratify 17T accounts payable, $140,717.54. 7S payroll, $11,960.10. And 8S payroll, $12,295.06.
do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, we're on to new business, truck bids. The brush truck bids. Did you have enough bids?
I think we did.
Yeah. Yeah. It was so pretty though.
Now, how do we look at the truck bid?
Thanks.
Okay, so on Thursday, March 13th, at 4 o'clock, the bids were closed for the brush truck. Myself and Assistant Chief Alexander and Shelley opened and recorded the bids that we received. And we recommend that the town award the truck to the highest bidder, Chad Myers in Iowa, I believe it was, for $28,835. And then the town official contact the bidder to set up payment and to determine timing to pick up the truck. And then once the truck's been released, if you guys could get in touch with me and we'll set up the time to unlock the station and pull it out for them. We advertised it for sale in the Reformer as well as on Facebook. I don't have the statistics for the Reformer, but regarding the Facebook post, we had
173,771
Yeah, that
views.
was accurate.
Wow.
173,771 views on the 3 different posts we had regarding the truck.
We had 675 interactions, which was likes, shares, comments. We had 54 bids in total, and they came from Washington, California, Texas, Iowa, Nebraska, North Carolina, and all the New England states, plus a few others. So, and I think Shelley gave everyone a spreadsheet with the tallies, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I believe the bids are on file in the treasurer's office. Is that where they ended up, or?
They're in my office.
Oh, they're in Chuck's.
Locked up.
I think we should be happy with what we got.
I don't know if I'll set it up
Glad
brand
I got
new.
up there. Glad I got up there.
I would entertain a motion to accept the recommendation of the fire chief and award the bid to Chad Myers of Iowa for $28,835.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Nice job.
Great job. We've never had that many bids up.
That truck is-
I wouldn't expect it on the next one.
Something would
I
show
don't know.
up.
You're on a roll.
Yep.
Okay, Lister contract. We have a contract here between the town of Vernon and Carol Hammond for March 24th to June 30th of this year to provide assistance to the elected listers as needed and with lodging of the grand list, consolidation of records, eliminate files based on retention of records instructions, and the hours of compensation are up to 15 hours a week with an hourly rate of $40 per hour. Is there discussion? Well, we need a motion first. Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the contract between Town of Vernon and Carol Hammond as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Shelley, do you want us to sign this one?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. We have a request from Carol Hammond. She would like to purchase the cabinet that used to hold the tax property maps. The maps from the mapping company now used will not fit in the cabinet.
Yeah, it's now storage for random stuff.
Yeah.
In the 5 years I've been here, it's really never been used as a mapping cabinet.
Just to
Most
check.
everything gets moved down to the safes.
Okay. What is your pleasure, board?
So we don't have a price on this?
No, we don't.
or-
We ought to give it to the fire department. They're pretty good at getting bids.
Yeah, but we want it to go the other way. We want to go down.
Do we have to sell it to them? Can you give it to
Yeah,
them?
that's what I'm wondering.
That's up to you all.
That many years?
Me personally, I think we should give it to her, but that's, again,
That's what I
up
thought.
to you, and she just wants to be able to receive it for what you guys think it's worth.
$1
$1
I'll pay the $1.
makes it legal.
$1 makes it legal.
I already did.
Yeah.
Did Shelley, did you sign it?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
$1 makes it legal.
So board, what is your pleasure?
I like to move that we sell the cabinet to Carol Hammond for that particular cabinet for $1 cash.
Do we have,
Cat.
do we have a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
Do we pay the treasurer that money?
Yeah.
All right, it'll be done.
Thank you very much, Chad. Okay,
Her retirement gift.
we're going
That's what I
to
was thinking.
postpone the cemetery lawn care contract to the end because it's going to be an executive session needed for that.
Yes.
So tax sale,
So currently we have 4 properties that are scheduled for tax sale on the 7th. And so far, they're still going forward, even though I've heard from 2 property owners. But they're still going forward because I've heard from them, but haven't seen any cash. So we need 1 representative from the select board, in case no one shows to bid.
to
You
bid for the
get
town.
to cast the bid.
Okay, I'll do that if I don't have anything else going on.
So it's 10 o'clock on the 7th, Monday the 7th.
Where can we find those properties posted, please?
They were posted, they've been posted in the Commons on Wednesday.
They're on the website, the town website.
Thank you.
Thank you. DV Fiber representative appointments. We got a letter from Bronna saying that she and Munson would like to remain. What is your pleasure?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Munson, Hicks, and Bronna for the DB5 representative appointments. No, I'm not gonna even try it, so.
Not good. Is there a second?
Second. Oops.
Any
You did good.
discussion? Just call it Bronna Z. Oh, let me just say Zlochiver. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Oh, do you want me to sign this one here?
Yes, please.
Okay. Windham Regional Commission representative appointments. We have Jim Pinkerton and Ian Hefele. Who have volunteered.
They didn't spell your name right, so here's your out.
I'm sorry.
He's not allowed now.
It's not you.
We'll reprint it with the right spelling. Do we have a motion? Jim?
Madam Chair, I move that we appoint Jim Pinkerton and Ian Hefele to the Windham Regional Commission.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All
You
those in-
couldn't say his name either.
No.
Zlochiver is harder than Hefele.
Glassy is not silent. It's okay.
We just like the people.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Aye, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, wheelchair lift ARPA allocation. The select board previously voted to fund the wheelchair lift in the amount of $33,300 from ARPA funds. However, the bottom line of ARPA funds is overspent by $1,543.72. These funds need to be unallocated from ARPA and paid from the chairlift line of the capital plan. How much should we have in that line?
In the capital plan?
Yeah.
Oh, 10,000?
Oh, we have plenty.
Oh, there's plenty in there.
No, we didn't.
It was to be used for the installation. I think you already made that motion previously.
It was gonna be used for the installation,
Mm-hmm.
that, the money that was already in the plan.
Yes, for the installation, for the removal, and for the rails. And I think it was, I don't think there was a figure that was given for the installation, because we didn't know how much the rail was gonna cost. So the highway guys stepped in and it would cost, I think, a few $100 as opposed to a couple thousand.
Okay, board, what is your pleasure?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we move $1,543.72 from ARPA funds to capital plan for the wheelchair lift.
Is that what we need to do? No, it's overspent by that, by 1,500.
Mm-hmm. So there was a motion that was made to fund the wheelchair lift, but it was more than we had left in the bottom line.
So we need to move $1,543.
From ARPA
From the
to,
ARPA to cover,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
So just to cover it from the capital plan.
got that?
I think so. So the motion would be to change the amount allocated by $1,543.72 and use the capital fund to pay for that.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion?
I'm confused. What's the amount that you're saying, is that the same as he's?
Yeah,
Okay.
$1,543.72.
Okay. My hearing aids aren't hearing very well.
Voice is not working too well either.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Vernon Memorial Day Committee request. They're requesting to use the Vernon Veterans Memorial on Sunday, May 26th at 2 p.m. for a Memorial Day program. What is your pleasure?
Madam Chair, I move that we let the Vernon Memorial Day Committee use the Vernon Veterans Memorial for their program on Sunday, May 26th.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, E911 letter. With Tim retiring, he was a point person. We need to appoint someone for E911 contact person. David Walker has been doing E911 since he came into Vernon.
And he's okay with this?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. He was the one who informed me a letter needed to be composed and sent on behalf of the town, so he can be the primary contact, as Tim has been for quite some time.
Jean?
Madam Chair, I move that we appoint Dave Walker, our road commissioner, as the town of Vernon E911 primary contact.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, at this time, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session with the cemetery chair and our administrator on a contractual matter.
The old business.
So,
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
After.
Yeah,
I need the name of the company for the contract, correct?
the cemetery committee.
No, I understand, but I believe we need to say at least the name of the company that we're talking about the contract
Okay.
with.
The name of the company, Marilyn?
For contract,
Yeah.
it's a contractual.
Move that we enter executive session, to discuss the town's contract with ABC Company. We need the name of the company.
Oh, Southern Vermont Outdoor Services?
So we need two motions too, right? So, Madam Chair, I move to find that premature general public knowledge of the contract with Southern Vermont Outdoor Services will clearly place the town at a substantial disadvantage by disclosing our negotiation strategy.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. I move we enter executive session, discuss the town's contract with Southern Vermont
Outdoor Services.
Outdoor Services under the provisions of Title I, Section 313 of the Vermont statutes.
Is there a second?
And include the chair of the cemetery committee and our town administrator. Thank you, Gene.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 We are in executive session at 6:58. Okay, we went into executive session at 6:58. We came out at 7:08. No action was taken. I'll entertain a motion to sign the cemetery agreement with Southern Vermont Outdoor Services. Do we have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we sign the contract with Southern Vermont Outdoor Services in the amount of $34,000.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, old business, select board rules. Did we accept these yet?
No, I handed them out, and that way Shelley would have a chance to review them.
And we need a motion to accept the select board rules as printed for March 2025.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? I believe we're supposed to hear from you.
Yes.
Okay.
The planning commission had a couple of meetings with Great River Hydro regarding their solar array that they want to put up. Their initial meeting raised some issues, So the second meeting, they attempted to address the issues, and the only really outstanding issue is contracting with somebody that doesn't seem to be always, I don't know if I want to say telling the truth, but has a tendency to exaggerate the situation.
Now, are these people from the Great River Hydro on there?
I think Niles is on there.
Niles, are you up?
Hi everyone, yes.
Okay. So,
Just a moment, Shelley. Do you want to?
Yes, I need to recuse myself.
Okay.
yep, you don't have to
And
leave.
she needs to sit in the.
When I
needs to
talked
do
to
this.
the ethics
Really?
committee, they said I needed to sit
Get out
over
of
there
here.
and speak.
Okay, continue, Jim.
So the issues we have are the buffers associated with the wetlands,
Mhm.
and whether or not the Agency of Natural Resources has bought off onto the distances. They came by and had a walk around, but we got no documentation that they said, yes, it's a good buffer, no, it's not. The contract that they had with the one of the abutters, Shelley specifically, on planting trees to limit the visibility. Those were the two issues that were really outstanding. We had a minor issue that's a matter of visual. The across the street neighbor thought that he would be able to see the top of the array. It's gonna be close. He suggested a 10-foot wall. They said 8-foot wall was the only thing that they could put up, and that's what they wanted to stick with. So the planning commission at that point, with all that information in hand, had a vote, and we voted in favor of granting a certificate of public good for this project, and one opposed. So I'm presenting to the board, best I can, what transpired at that, and I'd like to see whether or not the board would decide to grant a certificate of public good for the solar array that they're proposing down here.
Madam Chair, if it's appropriate, I would like to say that the Conservation Commission did not look at the economic piece or the relationship piece between Great River Hydro. We stayed within our lane of what is conservation of our heritage look like in town, and what do our town plans indicate to direct us in our decision. The preservation of farmland weighed heavily on us. Also, the buffers were significant. If you read our recommendation, which I supplied earlier, we noted that in the state of Massachusetts, they're no longer removing trees to site solar because of the carbon sequester. It is not, it's just an offset. You're not gaining anything when you cut trees down and put up solar. So we, our main issue being the buffer, we recommended at a vote of 3 saying no and 2 abstaining because they had direct conflict with the project.
Thank you. Shelley, do you want to weigh in?
I would ask us kind of to table it unless Nils has the new site map. I feel like we don't even have a map to make a decision on tonight.
Yeah, I'd be happy to address that if this is the appropriate time.
Appropriate time.
Okay. Okay, so
I'll ask Leah, who is with us as well, to pull up the helioscope, which is essentially a top view of the solar array as it's laid out. This is a fairly accurate, but I wouldn't say a perfectly engineered representation, but for the purposes of the scale of what we're showing you right now, it'll be very close to what we're planning on doing. So in this map, you can see that there is a green area to the south, the southern rows. Each of these blue rows is part of the solar array. There are solar panels in those rows. The areas to the south where it's green and there is no blue, those are areas where we've actually eliminated solar panels in response to two pieces that affect the usability of parts of the land. One is archaeological boundaries, indicating that those areas that are to the south in the blue boundary, those are delineated by PAL, which is the archaeologist for the project. They've delineated that area as being historically or archaeologically sensitive. So we are eliminating the solar array from those areas, and we will not do any disturbance below ground in that area. Another area that has been delineated and updated since we met with the Planning Commission and the Conservation Commission is the boundary delineated by Agency of Natural Resources for riparian buffer. And that's the red line where Leah is showing us right now. Previously, that area was in the crosshatched area, which was significantly further south. Based on our original reading of the rules and the way we've built projects in the past, the riparian or wetland buffer and riparian buffer were measured from the wetland boundary for 50 feet. But that A&R has asked us to measure that 50 feet from the top of the bank, which we have agreed to do. And that's where we have this red line now. As a result of that riparian buffer line moving further north, we've had to eliminate roughly 15% or so, I believe, of the solar array. As you can see, there are 3 rows to the east that are completely eliminated. And then there are most of 3 rows. Certainly the southern 2 rows are completely eliminated, and the 3rd row and 4th row have modules eliminated to a greater extent as well. So those are all in direct response to not only the Conservation Commission's diligence, but also to Agency of Natural Resources and our engineers working directly with Agency of Natural Resources to come up with that final delineation. So there is about 1 or 2 more conversations that we expect to have with Agency of Natural Resources as it relates to a small area that we would like to get a bit of a variance on that buffer right in the center of there, right there. I think we're only talking about less than, I think around 3,500 to a maximum of 5,000 square feet of riparian buffer area where we would like to be able to cut trees and then replant with shorter shrubs with seedlings that will grow into, say, shrubs that would be under 15 feet. That would minimize the the shading impact to that center part of the solar array and allow us to be able to continue that first long row all the way across. Breaking that up would significantly impact the viability of the project. So that's a general overview of where we are now. We will have this absolutely finalized, I would say, certainly by next week, if not even by the end of this week. And I'll invite Krista Clark to comment if she had anything to add to what I've just said.
Yeah, hi everybody. I think that about captures it, Nils. I'm here to answer any questions, but I think you got it. We hope to connect with A&R and have final agreement decisions, understanding of the riparian buffer management plan that's been put forward here over the next couple of days. So we're working hard to make it a priority and get some consensus on that. So we have a final plan to put forward. Thank you.
And I guess what I will also add is just that, we've been working as diligently as we can to get answers from Agency of Natural Resources. And, sometimes the wheels of activity don't move as quickly as we would all like. But we feel like we do have them engaged now and are hopeful to have just those final little pieces cleared up very quickly.
Shelley? Nils, can you just clarify for me, because I don't have the little key, what is going to be cleared to stumps and what will be managed over 15 feet on this new map?
Sure. So with the possible exception of the small 3,000 to 5,000 square foot area right in the center, no tree cutting will happen up to that red line from the south to the north. So any area south of that red line will not get disturbed at all. And then in the blue boundary, which is the archaeological area, there will be tree cutting to the extent that's necessary to mitigate shading of the array. But there will not be anything below grade. And in other words, we will not be putting any solar arrays in that blue area. And won't be doing any trenching or anything like that. Nothing below grade. So any tree cutting would not involve stumping. That would just be, we would just grind the stumps to the surface. So it'd be flush to the surface, but not below.
And where is that 5,000 feet in relation to our property?
Sure, it's right where Leah is showing her hand right there. It's just that, it's right that bottom, that red line there, up to the kind of the line that's just below it, just in that one central section though. Just right in there. And it would not go into that blue area, beyond that blue area where the hand is right now.
Discussion or questions? Yes, Chad.
What does the town benefit from the solar array? Are we getting any of the power from it for the residents of Vernon to cut their power bill down? Or what's the benefit of the town besides having a solar array which we could tax?
Yeah, the power from the solar array will be feeding directly into Great River Hydro's connection to national or Vermont. I'm sorry, ISO New England. I'm sorry. And so it'll be exporting power just as if it were hydropower. And it will be connecting into the hydropower's electrical equipment.
And from a tax perspective, Brandon from Great River Hydro, he provided some general guidelines on that during the Planning Commission meeting. And he suggested it would be right around $33,000 a year in tax value that the project would pay to the town.
So the answer to that is no,
Yes.
and it's only tax.
Everything. Why was this piece of land chosen? I mean, I know they own it, but why was this piece of land chosen there rather than maybe some old VY property?
Gotcha. Proximity.
Yeah.
Proximity to the place that they have to plug into. All right. And like they said, they've owned that property
I know.
for 60 plus
There
years.
used to be houses there.
Yep. So for that, it's a good site. Part two, they don't own property on the VY site big enough to support an array of this size.
No, they don't own, but why not?
So why would they buy property when they have a
Can I just jump in on that too, Jim, if that's okay with you? If not, that's fine. They are subdividing, they're trying, filed a FERCA document, a FERCA application to subdivide a chunk of land out from the Great River Hydro property, and they're selling the part further south to the national grid to put a transfer station there. So it's actually being subdivided into 2 lots.
Any other questions?
Yes. So in large part, what's happening here is Great River Hydro is trying to modernize a very unstable grid. Not very unstable here in general, but Vermont has what we affectionately call Grandpa's grid, and it needs to be upgraded to for the modern electric loads, and the substation is part of that effort, as well as providing more power into the grid to support the electrification of what has traditionally been energized by fossil fuels like oil and gas for home heating. A lot of homes are going to electric heating as well as electric vehicles as well. So that additional electric load demands a more modern electric grid, and these are some of the efforts that Great River Hydro is making to do that.
Yeah, the last thing I just want to say is that I still have concern over the amount of litigation costs that we're having to pay with this company. And not only that, but promises that were made to the town that haven't been fulfilled the last time they were reviewed. So
Yeah, from my perspective, the first meeting, there was 3 concerns that I felt were pretty simple to deal with. Frank Laflamme wanted his 10-foot fence. They said no. The Conservation Committee asked for a little bigger buffer. They're asking for a variance. Shelley, you seem quite skeptical as a butter of this project still. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but we're 0 for 3 on dealing with those issues. Really simple issues, I felt like. And we have a history here of this with this company. They're not friendly to the town. They have not been friendly to the town. And the other thing to keep in mind is, before I was on the board, correct me if I'm wrong, but Steve Zaluzny wanted to put a solar panel. This is generations of committed, solid Vernon residents who've done a lot for this town. The town shut him down on a solar project on his property, and I just don't see how we can say, no to him and yes to someone who's treated this town total opposite of how the Zaluzny's have.
I'd appreciate the opportunity to address some of those comments,
Okay,
if that's okay.
we have one more question from the audience.
I'm just looking at this from the standpoint of, we talked about not cutting down trees. and having that have an ill effect on the carbon aspect of things. And yet we have another solar system going in, and that was all logged in order to put the solar system in. And I understand $30,000 doesn't sound like much for taxes in the grand scheme of things, but I can tell you that it's a step in the right direction. And we really need to start building a tax base. We are going nowhere with building a tax base in this town.
Okay, thank you. Miles?
Yes, thank you. So in regards to the abutting neighbor, Frank, he requested a 10-foot fence. The solar panels the top height will be around 9 feet. So we're only talking about a one foot of potential array that you'd see above the fence, but that would be, of course, if you were at that 8-foot height from your viewpoint. But we've addressed his concern by actually adding 2 berms in front of, and here's an example of the exact same fence in Colchester on a project we built last year. So to address his concern, because there really wasn't a good product that we could feel comfortable would withstand the 30-year life of the system, that was of the height he's requesting, and also the additional cost of that was substantial. We chose to add berming, earthen berming, similar to what you're seeing here, in front of the stockade fence between his house and that fence. And that would provide additional screening and height in front of that fence. So by those plants will grow up within a couple of years to certainly go well above that fence and provide the screening that he has requested. So we, in direct response to his concerns, we incorporated the berming and the planting as a direct response to his comments. And then in terms of the buffer area that the Conservation Commission was requesting, the resulting buffer that we have here is significantly more than the 50 feet. So it's this final design provides a lot more buffer than what our original design was planning on doing.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
And then in response to Shelley's concerns, we have also we have offered to, at no cost to her, install a stockade fence and tree plantings to screen her view from her house of the solar array from that view.
Thank you. Any more discussion?
I got a couple
Okay,
things.
Jim?
Did they send you a contract that you could sign?
They sent us an agreement, and in that agreement was if we signed it, we would not be allowed to speak in opposition of their project or write any letters in opposition of their project.
Okay,
and we felt that really betrayed our trust. I asked them to remove it, and Brandon asked me to get on a phone call with him.
Yep.
So I got on a phone call with him, and after we talked on the phone for a while, he agreed to remove that, and he removed it. But at this point, the trust is not there with them. We're not real comfortable with them coming on our property to do it because of how it's gone so far.
Did you sign that contract with them or
We did
not? Okay.
And again, from my understanding, or, I guess we'll never know the answer to this question, but if the Agency of Natural Resources didn't ask for you to make that buffer bigger, would you have made it bigger just based on the request of a Conservation Committee? We'll never know the answer to that, but in my opinion, the answer would be you would not have.
I got one final thing. On the town plan, that area is identified as a place where you have a potential for solar arrays unless there is specific items that, that you can identify that say, no, you have to have, and it says there's potentially one or more potential no's for that.
Chad?
I almost guarantee we'll be in litigation over the assessed value of this solar array. So things to think about.
Speaking from experience, it sounds like.
They've tried to deny that it's all very formulated by the state, but again, what we go through, I'm
I
not
can tell you
sure
there's a
I
smaller
believe
one
that.
that's way more than that.
That basically, we would get taxes from the value of the land.
It's
All
valued
the
of the,
solar
it's two
goes to the
taxes,
state, right,
land and array.
right. We get the land, the state gets the array.
I can actually correct that a little bit. Yeah, so there are two taxes. There's a municipal solar tax, and then there's a state solar tax. They're two separate things, but both parties get solar tax from the solar array. So the solar tax that the town would get would be about $30,000, and then increased property tax would be about an additional $2,000 or $3,000 above what the current property tax is. And the way that, to avoid conflict, the state mandated how you formulate and calculate that tax. So there is a very defined tax formula that was created by Sandia Laboratories. And that is by law how the Great River Hydro and the town needs to calculate that tax. So there really is not any opportunity for conflict around the tax value with solar. I understand that that's different for other situations, but not for solar. And in the 15 years that I've run the business and done only commercial and small utility scale solar here in Vermont, we are a Vermont company. I have not seen a single conflict around tax valuation and tax value for solar projects. That's just from my personal experience.
Thank you.
I think to Don's point, I'd like to be able to support a project like this. It's a start, but it comes down to trust. Again, we were just told we'll meet the minimum state mandates and requirements. Very similar to the, Agency of Natural Resources. We'll do it when we're mandated by the state, whether it be tax level, whether it be buffers.
What's interesting, years ago, they wanted to put something up in the town forest, and the A&R required a 100-foot buffer. That just...
I could speculate, I wasn't here then, but I do know, for example, Great River Hydro, Connecticut River Conservancy is seeking a 100-foot buffer on the BY property, and certain wetlands and things are need larger buffers. It's all dependent on the wetland.
Sandy, I think what you're thinking about was the black gum swamp. They talked about increasing buffers up on that by increasing it from a class whatever to another class, and that they ended up not pursuing.
I would recommend that we table this until we get the paperwork that, with the maps and stuff. I respect the Planning Commission's recommendations, but I really think we need to see it and have it in hand. And I thank you for your presentation. It was very clear.
Thank you. We appreciate your time, and we will be sure to get you the information that you request. And I think for the next meeting, it would make sense for me to attend in person so we can show you in a large format print what we're planning on doing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, do you want the Conservation Commission to revisit this with a new buffer, or are you satisfied with the recommendation that we put forward?
I'm satisfied with your recommendation.
Thank you.
But I really appreciate it. Town admin report. Really getting to you now.
I don't have much to add. The transitions for the town clerk and treasurer have been going very well. The treasurer and I have been preparing for the auditor's arrival in 2 weeks, and everything is in very good shape. And I will be taking Thursday off to use up some of my comp time. That's all I have.
Does anybody have anything else? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. 7:42. We are adjourned.